Hello viewers, today we'll learn about the short circuit ratio. The short circuit ratio as the name suggests, it is a ratio, but it is a ratio between two currents. Now which are the two currents on which this ratio is dependent? So let us see. It is the ratio of the excitation current needed to induce the rated voltage in the stator winding under no load to the excitation current needed to circulate the rated current under short circuit conditions. Now let us try to visualize the definition in terms of the diagram. This is my OCC. If you can recall, OCC is the open circuit characteristics, and this is my SCC, which is nothing but the short circuit characteristics. This is my field current of the synchronous machine on the x-axis, while the y-axis carries per unit voltage as well as per unit current, and this point is taken as 1 per unit. Now let us compare the figure with the derivation. It says the excitation current needed to induce the rated voltage under no load. So this is the excitation current. The field current is the excitation current which is needed to reach the rated voltage under no load, which is a part of the OCC characteristics. And secondly, we are talking about the excitation current, that is this excitation current which is needed to circulate the rated current, that is the rated current under short circuit condition, and that is why we are having your per unit voltage as well as per unit current on the y-axis. So these are the 2 points which intersect at these 2 points. Let us name this as 0, this is A, this point let us name this as B. So according to the definition, we can write the short circuit ratio, short form is SCR, could be equal to OA by OB. So the excitation current or the field current which is required to reach the rated voltage in the stator winding under no load condition divided by the excitation current, or let's say the field current required to circulate the rated current under short circuit conditions. So that is the excitation current, that is OB. So the SCR is nothing but OA by OB. If we neglect the region of saturation, then we can say that the short circuit ratio is inversely proportional to the synchronous reactance, that is XD. The short circuit ratio governs the performances like stability limit, voltage regulation, short circuit current, synchronizing power, parallel operations, and so on. Now, as a designer, if a person is asked to select the value of the short circuit ratio, there are a certain advantages for having a low value of SCR. So let us discuss the advantages of selecting a low value of SCR. So the first point is short circuit current. So the short circuit current is directly proportional to the short circuit ratio. Therefore, lower values of short circuit ratio would definitely result in the lower value of short circuit current. As well as the cost of the control equipment would also be reduced. So therefore, it helps if we select the lower value of SCR in terms of short circuit current. The second point of discussion would be the size of the machine. If we select a lower value of SCR, then the size of the machine would reduce as there would be a smaller air gap. The excitation needed will also be much lesser because the air gap length would be smaller. Thus, the overall size of the machine also reduces. Now, since we have seen the size of the machine reduces, it would ultimately lead to the economics, and that is nothing but the cost of the machine. So if the size of the machine reduces, the cost of the machine would also reduce. The fourth point is also related to the second point, that is the size of the machine. If the size of the machine is reduced, the elements used in the machines would also reduce. So now let us talk about the active material which are used in the machine. So if the size of the machine reduces, the active materials, that is the copper and the iron which are used in the machine, would also reduce, and that would also accumulate to reduce the cost of the machine. So these are some of the major advantages of using a lower value of SCR. But like every coin has two sides, there are also disadvantages of choosing a lower value of SCR. So now let us focus on that as well. Disadvantages of selecting a low value of SCR. So the first point I like to discuss is the stability limit. The maximum power availability is directly proportional to the short circuit ratio, as the stability will be poor with low value of SCR. The second point of discussion would include the voltage regulations. A machine with a lower value of SCR will have greater changes in the voltage under the fluctuations of the load. Thus, the inherent voltage regulation of the synchronous generator will be poor. The last point of discussion for the disadvantages would be the parallel operations. Parallel operations of generator with a smaller value of SCR will have smaller synchronizing power, and hence it would have a less satisfactory output in terms of parallel operations. These generators running in parallel are more sensitive to the voltage disturbances. Looking at the advantages as well as the disadvantages, we can say a higher value of SCR should be selected for the better performance of the synchronous machine, whereas keeping the cost consideration into the mind, a lower value of SCR is suitable. So, since these both constraints are conflicting, a value of SCR is selected where a compromise has to be made between the above conflicting factors and a suitable value needs to be selected. In this next topic, we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of having a larger air gap. So first let us have a look at the advantages of large air gap. So again, here the first constraint is the stability. If a larger air gap is selected, a higher value of stability limit can be obtained. The next point of discussion would include the regulation. A smaller value of inherent regulation can be observed with a larger length of the air gap. The third point of discussion will include synchronizing power. So higher synchronizing power makes the machine less sensitive to the load vibrations, and which could be achieved by the larger air gaps. The next point of discussion would be cooling. Now, as you know, the heat is being generated by the windings. So if you have a larger air gap, the cooling could be done more efficiently. The next point of discussion is the noise level. So if the air gap is larger, there would be a reduction in the noise level as well. And the last point, the sixth point, is the magnetic pull. So since the air gap is larger, a smaller unbalanced magnetic pull could be observed. Now let us look at the disadvantages of large air gap. So the first disadvantage is, we'll talk about the criteria. The criteria is field MMF. So a larger field MMF is required if you have a larger air gap. The second point would be the size of the machine. So but natural that if you increase the air gap length, the size of the machine would increase in diameter as well as in volume. Next is the magnetic leakage. The magnetic leakage. So if you are having a greater length of the air gap, so there would be a higher magnetic leakage in the air gap. Next would be the weight of the copper in the winding. So the next criteria we can write it as weight of copper. Now if the magnetic leakage increases, you need to provide another few turns, so the weight of the copper increases to balance the amount of flux which is required, to balance the amount of field MMF which is required, and therefore weight of the copper would increase. Finally, moving to the cost. Now as we see that there has been an increase in the material which is used, so therefore there would be the increased in the cost as the size of the machine increases as well as the weight of copper increases. So the cost of the machine would also increase. Now let us have a look at the steps for calculating the air gap. Steps for calculating the air gap length. So let us move to the first step, that is step number 1. Here we will find out the ampere turns per pole. So let us write down, find out the armature ampere turns to be precise. armature ampere turns per pole. So that could be found out as AT, that is armature turns of the ampere. Small a in the subscript represents the armature, AT represents the ampere turns, and it is given by the formula 1.35 TPH IPH into kW divided by P, where this is small p. I hope you are getting this. This is not rho, this is small p, and okay, let's make it this small p, where small p indicates the pair of the poles which are involved. 1.35 is the constant, TPH are the turns per phase, IPH is the current per phase, and kW is nothing but the winding factor. The second step would be deciding the value of SCR, deciding the value of SCR. So the value of SCR would be decided based on the rating as well as the type of synchronous machine. Further moving to the third step, that is step number 3, which says to calculate the no load field ampere turns. So calculate no load field ampere turns. Now this no load field ampere turns are calculated per pole. So let us write this as no load field ampere turns per pole, which is given by the formula ATFO is equal to SCR multiplied by the armature ampere turns, the armature ampere turns per pole. Already calculate the armature ampere turns per pole here, so this could also be written as SCR multiplied by AT to the subscript small a. The next step is to find out the air gap ampere turns. Air gap ampere turns. Now the air gap ampere turns are usually taken as 70 to 75% of the total no load field ampere turns. So therefore the formula can be ATG, that is air gap ampere turns, is equal to 0.7 to 0.75 multiplied with the no load field ampere turns. There is another equation to calculate the air gap ampere turns. So we'll take it as step number 5. So again here it would be calculating air gap ampere turns with the formula and the formula is ATG is equal to 0.796 Bg kg Lg multiplied with 10 raised to 6, where kg is assumed between 1.12 to 1.18. kg is nothing but the air gap coefficient. The approximate value of the air gap length, that is Lg, can be expressed in terms of pole pitch. So the value of Lg for salient pole alternators, the value of Lg is taken as 0.012 to 0.016 multiplied with the pole pitch, whereas for turbo alternators, the value of Lg is given as 0.02 to 0.026 multiplied with the pole pitch. One should note that the synchronous machines are designed with much larger air gap compared to the three-phase induction machines, because the performance of the synchronous machines is improved with the larger air gap, whereas the performance of the three-phase induction machine degrades with a larger air gap but improvises with a smaller air gap.